I am Gary Freeman, and I have over 30 years' experience dealing with sites as a CRA, as a CRA manager, as a project manager, head of clinical operations, quality assurance auditor, both in the pharmaceutical world as well as biotech and device sponsor and CROs. So I have and do deal with many difficult sites on a regular basis. This is a business dealing with people, and people can sometimes be difficult to deal with even though they're professional people. Our task is to determine what makes the situation difficult and how we can turn them around for the betterment of our project and try to get ourselves out of the dilemma. I always say, help me to understand what's going on. I often take the blame when it's not really my issue, but I put it out there so that we can get things done. I will do my best to try to work with a site as much as humanly possible. With proper techniques, and yes, some soft skills, we can make any site a productive one and one that we enjoy working with. That is the critical piece. I don't even know how many sites I've worked with in my career, but most all of them have been enjoyable ones. Once we've gotten through some of the red tape that might be out there, some personality conflicts that may exist, it typically works out really well, and we're going to be working with them for a long period of time, so we want everything to be efficient and effective. So we'll discuss many ways to help accomplish this today. Each of us will have our own unique ways to implement many of these tips, and some methods will work better for some of us than others. This is the challenge that we face with sites to which we are assigned. We don't get to pick very often who we work with. In some companies, we do the pre-study visits, and we know ahead of time where we might have some difficulties. It might be that we have to use that site for political reasons, and maybe it wouldn't be our first choice. In other situations, we're just provided with the site, and we may not have had anything to do with the selection. Again, we have to make the best of it. So first, let's see what role you do play in this process, whether it's direct or indirect contact with the site. So our learning objectives is, first of all, we need to look at the causes of why the sites can be difficult. We all have our own ideas. So we're going to look at how do we get these ideas? Where did that come from? What made it be a difficult situation? We're going to discuss some approaches for dealing with different types of difficult sites. Why is the site difficult? We need to know why if we're going to help. We have to get to that root cause again. We'll look at developing some trending techniques to anticipate some of the issues that could come up. Going in, we might anticipate that some sites will be more difficult than others, in which case we need to think about some proactive ways going in. They're not all going to be ideal sites. We need to think about applying some proactive diagnoses then to develop a CRA communication plan. How do we work together? Perhaps one CRA can work with another. Have you ever had a situation like this? How did you deal with it? We want to form a bond between our team. That could be between CRAs. It might be the CRA and the manager. We have some of those folks on the phone today. What can we do? Early on, we want a communication plan. That's going to work. We've all had different types of situations, different parts of the country, different types of sites deal with things differently. We need to share that among our team as to how we get that all together. And lastly, we need to talk about some techniques for resolving conflict. Yes, there will be conflict. And promoting a successful outcome. That's the bottom line. We need to get through each of these issues. So some of the questions that I'm asked are, how do I best handle a difficult site? Well, there's a lot of turnover with CRAs. A lot of turnover. That's often a big reason for conflict within a site. They've been told one thing by somebody, and you come along, and you have a different idea. That makes our successful rate plummet. The site is not happy with us, we may not be happy with the site. So one of the biggest contributing factors to CRA's dissatisfaction appears to be the monitoring role itself. Having to fill in when someone else was there. Sometimes I hear, I'm having to work with incompetent people. Well, was that because we didn't do a good pre-selection process? Were we involved in it? Were we just given the sites and we have to deal with it? All of those Political issues come up. We then have to think about, does the company support us? That's also one of the high issues that come out when I do surveys. CRAs very often feel unsupported in management. I brought these to my leaders' attention, and they don't pay attention. I put this in monitoring reports. No one reads them. No one listens. I'm all by myself.